Hello, everyone. Welcome to iConixxx. We are here this evening with one of the most amazing young ladies that you're going to ever want to meet, and we're going to get her to answer some of the questions that you may have. But as always, I want you to remember that when you're watching this, take note, because if Sue says something maybe as a recommendation for a book or quotes something, you may want to write it down. I think she's going to be okay with you doing that. And I have found that to be very important in my world, to always have my pen and paper as I'm reaching right now near. So with that being said, remember that you are free to go to the YouTube channel and look up iConixxx Live, where we have roughly 35 documentaries from industry leaders from all over the world. And I'm telling you something interesting, and interesting. And you will walk away with somewhat of a change. I've been in the industry for 40 years. I always walk away from these interviews extremely inspired. So let us bring it in. And let's also introduce my sister from another mother, who lives down in Lima, Peru, and she is amazing, an astounding woman that is so driven in this industry that she actually created an outstanding school in Lima for talented up-and-coming artists in hair and in makeup. Love her to death. Julia, how are you today?
I am super excited. I'm so excited about the opportunity to talk to you guys, to get to know Sue more and get some of that history, some of that great stuff that's going to help us all to grow as professionals. So I'm delighted to be here.
I'm glad you're here.
Thank you. Yes, and we are so happy to have Sue Pemberton with us. What an honor, what a privilege. Sue Pemberton, award-winning master hair color specialist, educator, and color icon, mentoring for stylists to elevate their color knowledge, expertise, and artistic ability. And her work, all you have to do is Google her name and you will see amazing color designs. Welcome to iConixxx, Sue.
Thank you,
Welcome.
guys.
Welcome, Sue. Thank you, Julia. And I'm going to jump right in. Right? I'm going to jump right in. Sue, I really want to know, take me back to your days of, did you go to a hair school, or what inspired you to go into the world of hair?
Okay, well, first of all, Julia, thank you for that very nice introduction.
You're welcome.
But basically, I was in England, in the UK, and a lot of people don't know this, but I come from a very small village, and I worked in the local hair salon sweeping up as a Saturday girl. And I used to be very, very shy, still am, but doing platform work brought that out of me. And so I was 15, working as a Saturday girl, sweeping hair, making tea. And when the clients used to come in, I used to go bright red when they used to speak to me because I was extremely shy. Actually, when I did platform work, I used to ask people how many hairdressers are shy, and you'll find a lot of hairdressers are shy people. But I decided that I really liked talking to people and that I felt like it brought me out of my shell. And then the other thing I liked was making people feel good, you know, and checking with people. And I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I didn't know. I didn't grow up saying, oh, I want to do this or I want to do that. I had no clue. And so I was doing it as a Saturday girl, and I thought, you know what, I think this is it's good because number one, it brings me out of my shell. And number two, I like to make people feel good. So I think I'll give it a go. And I did. And in England, you leave school at 16, and that's 12th grade. So I left school and continued to work in the salon. And in England, You have different ways that you can get your license or certificate.
Mm-hmm.
And, one is you can work, 5 days in the salon, or 5 days in the salon, and then on the 6th day you go to beauty school 1 day a week, or you can go to beauty school full time, or you can go to like an academy type school. So I opted to continue in the salon that I'd been working as a Saturday girl and go to beauty school 1 day a week. And it took 2 years. So at the age of 18, I was a qualified hairdresser.
I am so intrigued by that whole that what you're calling Saturday girl.
Yeah.
Go more in depth, please, for individuals watching right now. Like Saturday girl. Were there more than one Saturday girls, or was it
Well,
just Saturday you worked?
yes, because I was at school.
Oh, so were there others that only worked Wednesday and were Wednesday girls?
No. What a Saturday girl was someone that went to school,
Mm-hmm.
high school, because
Okay.
though we left school at 16, that's 12th grade. So I was in school full time, Monday through Friday. And it's like having a paper round, or, working on a Saturday in a store.
Okay.
But I opted to work in a salon as a Saturday girl. And basically, in England, you don't have to have a license to touch hair, right? So I used to shampoo hair and sweep up and make tea. And my boss used to say, do you want to blow dry this hair? And I'd say, well, show me how to do it. She'd show me, and I'd say, okay, yeah, let's go.
I really kind of love that. I think that's awesome. That's really great.
And
So
my boss, she used to throw me in, right? She used to say, wrap that perm. And I'd say, well, show me how to do it. I don't know. And she used to cut hair this short. And I had to wrap it. And she said, if you can wrap that length, you'll be fine.
So that wasn't a punishment for you being late to work to be a Saturday girl, to wrap that.
She used to cut everybody's hair short and perm it.
Oh, damn.
By the time I went, and she said, put the color on, retouch on, here's the formula. And by the time I went to beauty school, college, 1 day a week, when I did the practical, where you do the hands-on, I was so quick, because I've been doing it already, that the teachers used to give me the late clients. They used to give me 2. I would do 1 perm that came on time, and then the late clients, they'd say, Sue, come do this rapid perm, because they knew I was fast.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, so that's where I started, and it was a small village in a small village in England. And
That's amazing.
Yeah, and what happened is when I got to 18, I was a qualified hairdresser, and I remember I've been in that beauty salon from being 15. So I'm now 18, 3 years. I'm a qualified hairdresser, and in 3 years, I've seen clients get pregnant, have kids, and I'm thinking to myself, is this it? Am I just going to be doing these same clients over and over and over? And what happened when I was 16, my grandmother brought me to America on a 3-week trip. And we went from LA to New York on a Greyhound coach. This is when I was 16. So when I became 18 as a qualified hairdresser, I decided to myself, I wanted to work on cruise ships. And I decided if I went down to Stein Cruises, they would say, where are you from? And I'd say, Billsthorpe. And they'd say, where? Right? So I've got to go and live in either London, or since I went to America at 16 and I loved America, if I'm going to move, why not move to America?
Wow.
At 21, I came to America with $600 and a suitcase of clothes.
And
you
of
had
course, your blow dryer and your combs.
And of course, my knowledge, because I was a qualified hairdresser. And I decided to come to LA because I wanted to come to the weather, the nice weather. And I came to LA. And I thought, okay, what can I do? So the first thing I did is I went and got a job in a beauty supplies because I knew I had to sell shampoo.
right.
I went and got my license, my California license, and then started, working in a salon where they took a commission.
So
That is excellent.
Yeah. So you left. Did you ever move to London then and work in more of a?
No, I decided move to London where it's rainy, like the village, or move to other side of the world where it's nice weather.
That's
And
amazing.
Yeah, nothing drew you there. You weren't offered a position to move to LA. No, you just moved there.
I love it.
I just decided, what the hell, I can always go back. My philosophy was, and I use this quote all the time, and my philosophy was, you better to try and fail than to fail by not trying.
Ah, there's something to write down.
Absolutely. I wrote it down already. I got that down. That is amazing. That's absolutely, Sue. As Joseph mentioned, I own a couple of schools here in Lima, Peru. And one of the things that we see are also students that come from, different provinces that don't have as much access as we do in Lima to all kinds of different stuff. And so we see them commuting here to take their school, but they still have that sense of insecurity, that sense of what if it doesn't go right? And what you said, of course, it makes a lot of sense, but there has to have been some doubt in the back of your mind. Was there any fear while you were going through that process?
No.
That is amazing.
Because why be fearful? I decided that what I did is I bought a round trip ticket, and I bought the ticket for 6 weeks, and I brought $600, so I had $100 a week. And my thought process was, if I can't make it work in 6 weeks, then I fly home. I've had a good time. And
what all happened in that 6 weeks, Sue, that you were there? When did all of a sudden this amazing artistry of your color and the nahas and what happened back then in those 6 weeks? Did you find a salon to work in that maybe was?
I went first to work in a beauty supplies because I thought, well, at least I can sell shampoo.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know about hair, right? So we're better to go sell makeup and shampoo and conditioners and mousses and gels. So I went and worked at a beauty supply while I went and got my cosmetology license. And I had my certificates, and as soon as I knew how to do the license, I took the cosmetology license. I submitted my UK certificates, and it meant all I had to do was take the test because of the training I'd done in UK already. So I went and took the test.
Oh, they validated what you did in the UK, in the United States. They validated that. Yeah. And then you just had to do some extra hours and then do that. That's really great. And then what was that changing point that made it maybe just working at a salon to like the next step up? Okay. What do you consider that was?
Well, first of all, I didn't have to do extra hours because the training in UK is quite substantial. So it's more hours than what you would need in LA, which is the highest state for hours, right? So because of my training, I didn't have to do extra hours. I just had to take the test. And then what happened is I took the test, and basically what happened, I was working in a salon in Santa Monica. And one of my clients, I was independent, you know, I was an independent. I had this station in a salon because I've always been independent. And I built up a clientele, and one of my clients asked for a product. So I contacted the distributor that had the product, and they came and talked to me about the product. And I started using the product, and I liked it and loved it. And then what happened is the company, the manufacturer, asked me to be an educator. And I said, no, I don't want to. I don't like talking in front of people. And they said, well, come on, be an educator. You know, you talk all day long to your clients. I said, yeah, but that's my clients. That's not doing, you know, education. And they said, well, look, they're doing this training this weekend. Why don't you just come to it to see what you think? It was a color training.
Yeah.
And I've been to a lot of different manufacturers' color trainings in America because I'm a big believer in continuing your education.
Mm-hmm.
I would walk in there and do, you know, listen to their color training. I'd come out more confused than when I walked in. I used to think to myself, what are they teaching? So basically what I did is I went to this color training, and I liked what they said because it was what I was taught, which is hair color, basic hair color. So they asked me if I'd be an educator, and I said, well, okay then. Yeah, I'll do some classes. And I went to do a few classes, and I really liked it because I was not only now helping a client look beautiful and educate a client, but now as helping a stylist be better at hair color. And so the manufacturer said to me, they just launched their color line, and they said, we want you to come and work full time. I said, no. And they said, why not? I said, because I like working in the salon, and I don't want to do it. So for 6 months, they chased me. And eventually I said to them, well, if I come and work for you, does it mean I'll be able to travel around the world doing hair? And they said, oh yeah, you'll be traveling around the world. I said, okay, then I'll come and do it. And I started off as the manufacturer's hair color manager. It was very small at the time. It now is a huge manufacturer. And I was their hair color manager. And basically my job was to train everybody. And basically what happened is they wanted to bring their hair color and manufacture it themselves instead of bringing it in from Italy. So they asked me, would you work with our chemists to make the hair color, because I was using my hair color in the salon, I knew it. And would you work with our chemists to make the hair color better or the same as what it is? So I said, yeah, I'll make it better.
What a great opportunity that was for you.
So
And I don't want to know who the manufacturer is, because I don't think it's important. But lucky for them, they had you, you little whippersnapper. Now, wait a second. So where did you gain? I understand that we're gifted as artists, right? I get that. Where did you gain all of that color knowledge? Because obviously some of it to you was boring if it wasn't done like you. I mean, I get that as well, but you're brilliant. And what do you feel was the largest attribute as an artist, and certainly a colorist, that gave you all of that manpower or woman power?
Well, in color theory, I would say my gain of, for some reason, Joseph and Julia, when I went to school in England to learn hair color, when they taught me hair color, I was instantly fascinated with chemistry. And what they were telling me, I found so fascinating. It interested me so much. I only had to be told once, and it was in there. So I would say my color knowledge, my history of color knowledge in England, my foundation was from England, from school.
Okay.
And then my artistry, my working with a manufacturer gave me the knowledge of marketing and sales and why education is important and how education builds, so it gave me that manufacturer aspect. My artistry actually was always there, but it came from, because I was in a position of artistic director, because I went from manager to artistic director to doing shows. And because I was in that position, I had to train a team. So I'm a big believer is that you lead by example. So how can I get you to believe in me if I don't set a standard, if my work is not impeccable, and if my artistry is not there? So I would get my inspiration from a lot of artists like Claude Monet, color, and I would go to art galleries and research artists and fashion designers and Alexander McQueen and people like that. And my job as an artistic director for a major manufacturer was to train a team in hair color. So I had to produce trends twice a year, once a year, twice a year at the beginning, again once a year. And I would say that from teaching and training a team, a lot of my, they used to ask me questions, and I used to always laugh and say, because I can. But when I went to my room, I used to say, why do I do that? Why do I do that? There must be a reason. What is the reason I foil that way? Or what is the reason I do that? And I would go back the next morning and say, okay, I've been up thinking why I do that. Yesterday I said, because I can. And this is why. So what happened was, because they're asking me questions, I realized that I needed to teach them certain things to elevate them. So same with theory, hair color theory. So, I've been all over the world. Like the manufacturer said, yeah, I did go all over the world, and I've been all over the world. And what I realized, it didn't matter where I went in the world, I got asked the same questions in a different language, but it's the same questions. And I would think to myself, well, what people are lacking is this area of knowledge in hair color. So I would make a format, or I'd make a class, or I'd make a something to teach people what they needed to know. And I used to say, there's so many rules to hair color, and if you know these rules, you can do anything, basically. And there's so many rules to artistry. And once you understand why you're doing what you're doing, whether it's theory or whether it's artistry, and if you have a methodical approach and a foundation, then you can do whatever you want.
I just think, Julia, I got to jump in one more time. So please, when you were hired by this manufacturer to come in and actually take the color, and as you said, to make it better, what is your first, where was your first direction to make it better? Was it in the consistency, or was it in?
It was in things like, I want the high lifts to lift lighter. I want the reds to be brighter. I want the grape to be better. I want your golds to not, I want them to be a nice gold. I want to be able to do a low light and put a gold on without having any problems, So that's That's what I did.
Love
is
it.
my color line, basically. You know, things like your hair color line doesn't fall within the laws of color. It needs to fall within the laws of color. You don't have the tools I need to be able to do correction because you don't make it. So we need to make it.
Now, can you mention at all what line you were that instrumental in? Because I find that to be fascinating. It's, you know, it's an artistry. So where did that all exist?
At Joico.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Amazing. Absolutely. That
Yeah.
is so encouraging. And I just want to add something there, Joseph, because you know, a lot of times the students come into the schools and they are more interested in the trends, you know, in the trends, in the pinks and the purples and the greens and the blues, but you don't see them creating, you know, the depth, the definition, and actually working the cut with the color to make an, you know, an art piece on a typical customer. I'm not talking about on platform. I'm talking about how to properly design color and cut together, you know, so that they're in harmony. And that's what we were speaking about the other day, Joseph. And I think that it's so amazing and inspiring to see educators like yourself that are bringing in that, you know, that inspiration on color, because there's so much to do still with color. Don't you agree?
Oh yeah, so basically I worked for that manufacturer for 26 years, and now I'll tell you what I'm doing now. So after working for a manufacturer for 26 years, I decided to move on. It was time. I've already done that, been there, got the t-shirt. And I decided to move on. I didn't really want to go to another manufacturer. So I didn't quite know what, I love teaching, and I love teaching hair color, but I didn't know in what capacity I wanted to continue to do it. So I held off. I worked with a few manufacturers consulting. I didn't go to bigger manufacturers because I weren't interested in doing that. I didn't want to, you know, it's political in manufacturers and all that. I just want to help the hairdresser. So I decided what I wanted to do. What does Sue want to do? Right? Forget the money, forget the position, forget the title, forget all that. What do I want to do? So I decided I wanted to keep teaching. So I thought, well, I don't want to teach a brand. I want to teach hair color. Doesn't matter what brand you use. And basically, I've started my own online course, which would be very good for your students because I'll give you a student discount. But I've started my own online course of non-branded hair color teaching. And it starts all the way from the beginning and it goes all the way to the end. And basically, the course is about, if you came to me, Joseph, like you said at the beginning of the show and said, you know, I'd love to go under your arm or under your wing. If I took a protege, because I don't want to do the platform work anymore. I don't mind if there's a big show and it's iconic hairdressers, but that's who I'd do the show with. But I don't want to do a show with somebody who's not that good at what they're doing. So what I decided was if I took a protege and taught them everything Sue Pemberton knows about hair color and about artistry and about color and how the cut goes with the color and the color and the cut and how it's married together.
Yeah.
And how you do certain technique and how you create a trend and how you do a photo shoot and how you know, if you want to get into avant-garde and you want to do advanced or you just want to do, you know, good hair in the salon, I will give you the tools with my online course of how you can do that. What you do with them and what you do with the knowledge is totally up to you.
I think that needs to be promoted, young lady.
Yeah, Well, I've not officially promoted it yet because over the past living the COVID dream, as we've all been living, in that COVID dream that I'm living, I decided that that's what I want to do. And everything I've done in my career has led me to this one place.
I love it.
So over the past year, I have been working on my course. And the course is huge. It comes in 3 modules to start. And I'm about 2 weeks away from finalizing module 1.
Wow.
Which is perfect for students because it's the beginning. It's the hair color theory. It's what you need to know to be good, to do color correction and to do things. And then it's going to move in, and it talks about, you know, the methodical approach of foiling and why you foil different basic haircuts this way. And then it moves into the more specifics of how trends are designed and how, you know, the more artistry and the creative, and it builds. And it builds all the way to people who want to be platform artists. I used to teach platform artists.
Yeah, I love it. I love you, actually. I think that you are, I see you as an advanced course
Yes.
that students can actually take outside of their basic My Lady training,
Yes.
right?
It's
But and there's so many of them that are hungry for the next step, but they're really needing someone that is grounded versus, you know, searching all over the freaking YouTube for whatever they can find. And you know what, Sue, as a designer, I feel that one of the things that's lacking is the ability for them to come out of school and really be good cutters. And I get this feedback all the time from all the iConixxx. Hence the reason why I have now, with my team here, created the iConixxx student contest, which is going to be a competition. And I need to start to see them do shapes. And I'm done seeing bra length hair that is unicorn right now. You know, it just doesn't, it's not showing, like, you know, like Chris Barron would say, the haircut begins above the shoulder. I believe that. So along with all that push, I think you would fit into this category. We'll talk more, but for sure, it's what they're searching for, a school outside the school. And I just believe that for you to talk about it like that, so docile like, I am telling you, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
You smart little shyster. I love you.
You know, it's like people don't understand. They put these bright colors on, and they don't. If you look at my work, I'm a bright color queen. And, you know, my signature work is bright, vivid colors. I was doing green, and I won NAHA in 2007 with bright colors. So, you know, to me, I know how to do bright colors, and I know how to do it in an artistry way.
Thank
And
you.
one of the reasons I did it in 2007 was because nobody would have green and blue in their hair unless it's punk, but they wouldn't have green and blue in their hair. And one of the things I wanted to show is that how green and blue can become very beautiful. And it's out there in the world. You know, we've got blue skies and green trees and some blue and green. Why isn't it in hair color? So that's what my goal was in 2007. And I achieved it. And I'm known for bright hair color. And a lot of people think, well, she just does vivid hair color. Well, if I can do that, you don't think I can't do a bleach blonde, or you don't think you know, a caramel toffee highlight.
Right. I want
piece of cake.
You know, I want to ask where you and Chris Sorby connected, if I can ask that.
Well,
Yes.
Chris Sorby is a, you know, she's a color icon, and I have a lot of respect for her, and she has a lot of respect for me. And basically, you know, a lot of times you work for manufacturers, and you know, manufacturers, you know, in the olden days, it were like, oh, taboo because you're talking to the competition, you know, another manufacturer. I didn't give a sorry, I did not care. Nearly said a word. I didn't care. I befriended everybody because to me, it's not about manufacturers, it's about our artistry. So I always, you know, I always looked at Chris and what she was up to. And she was working at Redken and I was working for the company I worked for. And we would see each other on the road. And I'd always say hello and she'd say hello. And when I got to know a little bit better, actually, Haircolor America years ago asked us to come and be a colorist. And it was me, Joe Blackwell, Chris Sorby, I can't remember, Kim Kimball, I think, yeah. And we went to Color America individually, we manufacturers, and because we had to go to these events, we used to taxi it together, and we used to sit in car talking and you know, about stuff. And it was kind of funny because she had an assistant then called Stephen, and I had an assistant called Stephen. So we were always laughing because Stephen, it's Stephen. So I kind of met her through there. And then, of course, she would pay me compliments and, you know, I would pay her compliments. And I respected her work because to me, it's not about a manufacturer, it's about artistry. And that's why I like going to North American Hairstyling Awards and competitions, because it's not about the manufacturer, it's about us as hairdressers and the artistry. And it's not a competition. It is not.
That's beautiful.
It's artistry, right? That's what it is. Either you respect the artist or you don't. And there's many artists I respect and admire, you know.
Well, we have certainly admired your work and respect your work and everything that you're about. It's like simplicity to the max with the talent. And you know what I admire is the fact that you didn't have fear, because there was no room for fear. You wanted to experiment something new and you focused. And even though you thought education was not for you because you weren't too much into being in front of people and all that, you did it. And you did it well. And I think that sends a really good message. It's so beautiful to hear you and to know more about your story.
Yeah, well, to be honest, it's like when I started teaching, it was like a high. You know, you feel like you've just done, not that I know what it feels like when you do drugs, but it feels like a high. You're pumped up, you've just done a show, you've used a lot of energy, enthusiasm, which if you have it naturally and you're passionate, it's very easy to bring that out, isn't it? So, you know, I used to feel very high when I taught with hairdressers, and I love it when hairdressers have a light bulb moment and you can see it. And I love it when people I've trained become hugely successful. Mm-hmm. And I love that too, because I only want people to be good colorists. It's not a competition. It is be a good colorist, make our industry count, elevate our industry. It's a craft, it's an art form. That's what our industry is. And that's what I like to do.
I'm just fascinated by the whole thing. I think it's amazing. And where do you see yourself to be in the next 2 years?
I see myself doing my course, and it's online, so it can be anywhere in the world. And I don't want to lose touch with the hairdresser. A lot of people say, well, it's online, you don't get to see. Oh no,
Right.
they'll see me once a week. I'll be doing a Zoom call and they'll be able to ask me the questions, and I'll be with them. So I will continue to educate hair color. And I feel like in one respect, it's like writing a book, but instead of it being a book, because we're in a new generation, it's online.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Bravo. Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's
Well,
where I see myself doing that. I feel that everything I've done all my career has led me to this one space and that this one place, and that is to pass on my knowledge.
that's
To make
right. And
a better colorist.
yep. And you are, for that matter, young lady. I want you to take us to your Naha trip. You know, what was your inspiration around Nahas? Was it nature? Was it Monet? Talk to me a little bit about
Oh,
that.
Monet, yeah. Well, okay, in 2007, my Naha was, before that, I entered and was a finalist and it didn't win. And I was looking to see what past winners had done. And so I was kind of like doing what I thought the judges wanted. And then I got to a stage where I said, oh, stuff this. You know what? I just want to do what I want to do. I don't care. If they don't like it, don't like it. I like it. What's more important? I have a platform to preview my work. I don't care if you don't like it. I like it.
Yeah.
So in 2007, I did what Sue Pemberton would do, and I won.
That's
And
not,
that's
were you a part of creating that color?
yeah, well, oh, that's another story. The company didn't want to make vivid colors. So I ended up becoming I used some of their color they were testing, and I used some other brands because it was a personal shoot. It wasn't a
Sure.
company shoot.
Yeah.
And basically I did what I wanted. And if you don't want to make the color, fine, I'm still going to do what I want. And of course it became a finalist. So then they had to rush to get the color out that I'd been asking for, 7 years.
That's my wife, in case you're wondering who's
Oh.
wandering around. That's Joy.
So anyway, they had to rush to make the color because it not only became a finalist, it won. So
Oh, wow.
yeah. And so they started making vivid hair color.
I like it. That's a good story. We could say it almost started then from you.
Well, it did start from me because there used to be Crazy Color in UK in the punk days, in the punk
yeah.
hours. But when they did Crazy Color, and Crazy Color still exists, it's come to USA recently. But when they did Punk Era, it was just green all over and blue all over. And what I wanted to show is how can you do green and blue and make it look beautiful, make it look like art. So if you look at one of my 2007 Naha wins, there's a green one and a violet, green and violet together. And if you look, the inspiration came from Claude Monet, from this is in the green.
Yeah.
Absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Yeah. And then of course, I entered Naha again, but basically my inspiration, it comes from things surrounding. It could be like reflection, shapes, it could be fur, it could be, shadow, like this shadow of my plant. It could be, oh, that would be cool on here. So I just, I'm fearless when it comes to hair color because you know what? I can always make it brown.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And that's another thing coming to Julia, and students and stuff, the younger generation, I find doing photo shoots and photo shoot work, I have always, when you're doing professional models, you have to take their hair back to brown. You have to. But I don't care because my images are on camera, right? But, this younger generation, I've done shoots with people. that's the younger generation, and they do all these unicorn hair colors, but then if they're asked to take it back to brown, they don't have a clue.
Right.
Do it. And you know what I always used to say is that you have no right to do colors like that if you don't know how to make it back, if you have to, right?
You know, that's huge. That's huge what
Yeah.
you're saying right now, because that's not even written in a text anywhere.
Yeah. So if you know how to take it back, then be fearless and do it. I know how to take it back. I do take it back. I don't have a problem taking it back because I know my corrective color. And yeah, so, you know, I've done models over and over and over, and I can show you a collage of images where it's the same model. She's got green hair, she's got violet hair, she's got this hair, she's got that hair. And I've always took her hair back, and I've always done it. I've not had my assistants do it. I do it because I want that model to know I am there with them every step of the way, and I will look after them. And they
Excellent.
they have their hair done by me. They will let me do whatever I want, whatever. No fear.
The trust is there. The trust has been built, yeah, by your actions. That's
Yes.
amazing. That is amazing. Thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah,
That is so amazing.
I'm chewing on that because that's really something good to chew on. You know, I mean, that should almost be, you know, for a student's life inside of school. That poor mannequin, as you know, goes from brown into
Yeah.
a multitude of an array.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's almost like you get your diploma on graduation day if you put Missy back to brown.
Exactly. If you, yeah, but that's not just taking it black. You know, everybody
Yeah.
just goes black on it.
A nice brown.
It needs
A
to
nice
be levels
brown.
brown. Levels. Have them do a level 6 brown, but that's what they should learn. You know, it's okay. You know, they always say you want to run before you can walk. Well, you've got to know the foundation. You've got to know the corrective color before you start doing the artistry. Because if you don't know, you know, how hair color reacts, and you don't know what colors should be going together, and you just putting a mishmash of colors together and throwing it all on, I mean, that's what it's going to look like.
I love that. I do.
Yes, absolutely.
Smart.
So, to me, that should be something that's taught.
You know what the hardest thing is, Sue, and you know this, I mean, you've been all around the world, but it's in Julia's neck of the woods. It's the level 2s that want to be, you know, Marilyn Monroe in her lightest.
Yeah.
That's always an interesting task. Let me tell you.
Without any red, without any red.
Right.
Bleach it 3 times, and can the hair handle it?
Exactly.
I mean, that's the thing. But you know, okay, so it's interesting. You see, I'd love to talk about hair color for ages, but I did a lot of work in Asia, and everybody has darker hair. And they were scared to death of bleach because they always used to get it to what I call cockroach brown, right? So they'd lift it to cockroach brown and take it off before it's done. And what my job was to show them how, number one, bleach is your friend. And number two, how can you utilize the cockroach brown to your advantage, right? So I'll give you a little example. This is a little example of Sue. So you've got, I always say when you're doing hair color and you're doing art, people say to me, do you think in color? No, I think in black and white first. Okay. And the way I like to say it is, if you look, and this is artistry as well as correction, but if you look at an artist do a sketch on white paper and he uses black charcoal, in order to make the image 3D, it creates shades of gray. That is what makes the image pop out from the page and make it look 3D. And you have to do the same thing with hair color. So here's an example, coming back to darker hair and it lifting to that beautiful cockroach brown orange phase. Utilize, you know it's going to be there, so utilize it. Instead of fighting it, utilize it, okay? So what I would say, for example, now I'm giving you an example. When you're looking at somebody's hair, if the hair's super dark, like say it's a 3 or 4, that's your black, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And they want to be bleach blonde. So they want to be a 10 or 11 or a 9, 10. They want blonde. That's your white, okay? Whatever level, but 9, say yellow white. So what falls in the middle of, say, a level 4 and a level 9? What falls in the middle?
A lot of, are you saying gray, or are you saying?
No, I'm saying in color, it's like a 6 or a 7.
Red orange, like
Yeah.
orange, yellow, red, orange.
Yeah, so it's your cockroach brown, isn't it? Right?
Yes.
So the point I'm making to you is that if you use your cockroach brown, use the black, you have your cockroach brown, but you enhance it instead of trying to get rid of it. And then you do some bleach pieces. You put bleach into the brown in a foil, into the dark brown, and then you use a color, or you use another bleach with a lower volume to cockroach brown, and you surround the white or the light blonde with the cockroach brown against the black, and you have a beautiful hair color.
Wow, I love the cockroach thing. I mean, I don't love cockroaches.
No, you don't like cockroach brown, but do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, you're utilizing instead, I always say, here's another slow, write this one down. In corrective color, if you can't lose it, meaning cut it off or neutralize it, then use it.
Nice.
So if you can't lose it, use it. As in, instead of trying to make it even, make it so that you're enhancing it. Make it into a trend. Make it into, use it for advantage.
Yeah. Right. Why stress over it?
Totally.
Look at it as something that could be, as you said, trendy.
Or enhance it. So get rid of it, but enhance it, or do something to emphasize it rather than try to get rid. But this is a whole course I teach. So
well, I was just gonna say, for those of you that are watching Sue right now talk about what she just talked about, it sets her up and sets you up for, I know all of you out there that want more. Well, you now know that you Google this individual for her courses and you will have your answers, because I believe that what you're saying is interesting. It's fascinating. I think all of us as artists are fascinated with that. But your point of a lot of these young individuals, and a lot of them that are going unicorn or are going rainbow, can you bring it back? I think that's what I'm taking away from this whole thing. As common as that might sound, it's not reified enough. And I'd like to bring that to the panel myself and say, you guys need to see what maybe we're missing here, right? Yeah. Because I don't know what it is, but it's going all over the place with students graduating now, not having all of that color knowledge that you have, and all of that cutting knowledge that you know, Chris Barron has, or yeah.
Well, they start with the foundation, which is you guys. You teach them the foundation. That's what they need to do to get a license. But then after they've had the foundation, then they need to learn more. They need to get into it more, right? I mean, yeah, they just need to get into it more, get into corrective color more, get into why you place colors like that. You know, I mean, you've learned your foundation, but there's so much more to it. It's like this course I'm doing. I've only done module 1. I can't do 2 and 3 because there's so much information that I want to share. I will do it. I will complete it, but it's going to take me time, and I don't want to rush it.
Right.
To take people's money. I want people to take the course and be like, wow, I have confidence in hair color. I know my stuff. I know what I need to do. And I feel good about it. And I feel like I've achieved something, and I can make my clients look beautiful. And I'm not scared of hair color.
I want you to make sure that you get all that information to us so we can utilize it to assist you in backing you up in all of that, because this will be and has been very connected to the base foundation of schools. And I believe that I would, oh God, I believe that you are there and you exist for the reasons being they need to take you after step 1. And I would highly recommend. So when that's done and finished, or whenever, you just make sure you let iConixxx know. Don't forget, you know, send us an email so that we can put that out there for you, because I think it's valuable, yummy stuff. You're like a buffet of all these wonderful desserts.
Absolutely.
And
So
forget the
inspiring.
armpits. Forget the armpits. I want to go right to the dessert tray and just take all your dessert.
You know what it is when you hear someone speaking so passionately, it's almost like you want to just taste what they're tasting,
Like
you know?
I want her
so
t-shirt.
important.
I want her t-shirt.
Yes, I want her t-shirt also. Yes.
I have one actually.
Well, like I said, I really want to say that I believe that when you are interviewing someone that's fascinating and has constant knowledge, 55 minutes is like 10. And there is something that I want to throw at you that, again, we have all decided that has been so fascinating. And Sue, I want to invite you into our chain reaction. Now, I don't know if you know much about that, but what chain reaction is it gives you the opportunity, through our creating it, anyone that you would like to interview or that you find fascinating that you would like to bring on to iConixxx, what we are doing is allowing you and that individual to cross back and forth with interesting conversation while we sit back and just kind of watch in a non-wrestling or boxing match way. Like you said before, it's artistry. It's not competition. So you think about that, please, and you let us know, because I really believe that you have really the way that you speak and your knowledge is attuned. I mean, I was attuned. I want more, actually. I want to take your course.
Well, remember, I'll give students a discount.
Yeah, I am going to remember that.
Because I don't do it because of the money. I'm not doing it because of the money. I'm doing it because of the passion. I need to make money, obviously. I have to pay bills like everybody else in this world. But if I wanted to make a lot of money, I can go and work for a manufacturer and make a lot of money. But I don't. I want to pass on knowledge. I want hairdressers, hairstylists to be better colorists. And I love students. And you know why I love them? Because they've not been no bad habits.
Yeah.
So they're like a sponge, you know.
They're a canvas. Yeah, they're a
Yeah.
canvas.
You
They're
know
a
Yeah.
what though? Can I
canvas.
ask you one more thing? With they're taking your course, just in case someone would wonder, would they need to use, do you have your own personal color line right now?
No, they can use whatever brand they want. That's what I'm teaching them. It doesn't
So
matter.
it wouldn't need, it doesn't matter if it's cream or liquid. It's
Yeah.
really, okay. Well, that's really important to know
Yeah.
because that sets it free to, you know,
Yeah.
the masses.
Unbranded. And you know what it is too? It's for them to look at the color line they're choosing to use and to see if it has what they need to do color correction, first of all. But what do they need? You know, does it have what they need to do what they want to do? So for example, when it gets into the artistry, I will tell them what levels and recommend, you know, a level 9 gold or you know, a level 7 copper, but it's non-branded, because what I'm actually going to teach, finally, if they go through the entire course, is it's nothing, none of it is to do with the brand. It's all about hair color. But in the artistry segment, what I'm teaching them is how you use levels and how you use tone and how you use color harmony and how you use you know, things like that. So it doesn't matter the brand that they're using, it's totally irrelevant. And what I'm doing is I'm making them design, I'm giving them the foundation of artistry so that they can then expand
I
into
love this.
their creation.
I love this. I am a part of a new salon that's opening, and we'll talk about that later. But as I have a feeling, I see a place for sure in my world coming up where we could maybe think about how we can get that course in there once a month or something. Fascinating. I need to stay in touch with you.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that in closing now. This has been amazing. You are really, really true to heart, a designer and gifted, and your youth in this industry, which is still of current, and your path that brought you to this country, I want to say is a true gift to us in the US to have had you really help, you know, establish a line like Joico that is so large and fascinating. So, you know, thank you for that. And I wish you back totally. And I'm going to speak before Julie does on behalf of Chris. She would say thank you so much, that she sends you her hugs and love. And I'm sure she's going to reach out to you because she will be watching this documentary once Andy gets it all like shined up and beautiful. So
Absolutely.
thank you, Sue.
And
Julia, anything that you'd like to say?
Well, yes, I mean, definitely, definitely. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for your courage, for the boldness, for the, you know, just the way that you transmit something that's sometimes we make it so complicated. The students and the classes and the color, and you know, when it really is very simple. And it's so beautiful to listen to someone that is so passionate about that it's, you know, as a school owner is so encouraging. So and also I want to just encourage you on this training. Yes, a lot of people say, you know, online is not the same and all of that. Maybe it's not the same as being next to the person, but it is great, and it is a necessity. It is absolutely a necessity to be able to reach out and get educated from all different countries of the world and everything. So just encouraging you to continue to do that because it's very much needed.
thank you. I will.
You're welcome.
So I'm going to have Cassie, Sue, reach out to you about chain reactions and see if you're fascinated or interested in that. And that will, of course, bring us back into your life. But I'm going to stalk you for personal digits so I can see if there's any way that I can sew you into the world that I live in. And thank you for taking your time. I know you're busy and I appreciate that. And if you would be so kind to help us spread the word out there by just sharing iConixxx live on YouTube with all of your following and friends so that we can continue to just kind of cause that vibration of goodness. I would love you for that. All of us would. So on that note, peace, love, and hair color.
Yes. Thank you,
Bye,
guys.
Sue. See you.